Let me address that. When I first
The internet is buzzing once again with none other than Cardi B. Yes, the Bronx superstar who never holds back when it comes to her truth. And this time, she's opening up in a way that has left both fans and critics speechless. Cardi is finally talking about her journey as a mother, how it all began with her first child, Kulture, with her estranged husband Offset, and how it's now shifting as she prepares for baby number 4 with her current boyfriend, NFL star Stefon Diggs. And trust me, this story is one you'll want to follow from beginning to end. Wait and watch the clip to see exactly what Cardi said about motherhood, her past sacrifices, and her future comeback. But before we dive in, don't forget to hit that subscribe button, because you already know we bring you the raw, the real, and the unfiltered truth right here.
Let me address that. When I first had Kulture, that was my first baby. I didn't know what I was doing, and I was like less than 120 pounds, and I had my first baby. When I first had Kulture, my vagina had to be stitched type shit. It was so drastic. The change was so drastic. I never had a babysitter for her. I never had a night nurse. It was just me, my mom, and my sister would come and help us on the weekend all the way to Atlanta. I didn't want her to separate from my baby. I didn't know what I was doing. It was my first rodeo. So I decided not to go on the tour with Bruno because it was so brand new to me. Y'all asking me if I'm gonna go on tour in February, and the answer is yes. Now, this is not my first rodeo. This is my 4th child. Right now, I wear heels every day. I've been wearing heels almost every day for the past 2 months. I'm about to start working out like I did with Blossom. I don't know if y'all ever noticed, every single time, the last 2 times that I gave birth, I went straight to Fashion Week 2 weeks later, 3 weeks later, and I rocked it. I feel like that's how I defeat postpartum, by keeping the same program, because I'm a person that move fast. When I lay in a bed, I just feel like my life is just moving. And I have to do something. So I feel like the way I would defeat postpartum is by working. So yes, this time around, I promise you, guarantee you, this tour is happening. The setup for the stage is already happening. Everything is happening. My label, and Live Nation asked me like, hey, are you sure you want to put out this album in September? You could put it in December, you could put it next year and stuff like that. And I was like, no, I'm going to put it in September. Everything's going to be on plan. Live Nation was like, hey, you can move your tour to summer or anything. I'm like, no, I'm going to tour in February. I got this. And I made a promise to them. And you know what's so funny? Them seeing me so motivated and so active and so tentative to my job, that they are like going so hard on me. Like, I don't know what other people are saying, but I'm having really great support from my label, and I'm having really great support from Live Nation, and I'm having really great support from my team, my internal team, my glam team, everybody, full stop management, everybody is on 10 and everybody's ready to on go. And I'm making y'all, I'm engaging to y'all. I'm putting a ring on y'all finger. We going on tour. Okay? So, just letting y'all know. But you know what's so crazy? No, fuck it. That's it. I'm going on tour.
When Cardi sat down and reflected on her early motherhood days, her honesty hit differently. She admitted, "When I first had my baby Kulture, I did not know what I was doing. I was so protective of her, and I never wanted to leave her side. That confession struck a chord with millions of mothers who had lived through the same overwhelming emotions. Cardi revealed she even went as far as canceling shows and tours, choosing to remain glued to her baby girl. For a woman whose entire career was built on performance and stage presence, those sacrifices were monumental, and fans couldn't stop talking about it. But here's the twist. Cardi's not that same new mom anymore. This time around, as she prepares for her fourth child, she's walking with a different kind of confidence. She said openly that after she welcomes her baby with Stefon Diggs, she plans to hit the gym, rebuild her body, and prepare herself for one of the biggest comebacks of her career. And when is that comeback happening? Mark your calendars. February 2026. Cardi confirmed that she'll be ready to headline her tour by then, no matter what. For many fans, this announcement was nothing short of jaw-dropping. How could Cardi be balancing pregnancy, family, and the grueling demands of a world tour? Insiders close to the rapper say this is the most determined they've ever seen her. She feels like she has a second chance at life, one source explained. This baby is giving her energy, and Stefon's support is keeping her focused. And that's where things get interesting. Because while Cardi paints a picture of determination and love, the shadow of her past with Offset still lingers. Remember? Offset is not just her ex, but the father of her first two children. Fans are now wondering, does his name still come up behind the scenes? Does he feel overshadowed watching Cardi move forward so publicly with Stefon? The speculation is endless, and the drama is only heating up. In fact, one fan wrote on Twitter, "Offset must be kicking himself. Cardi's out here talking about tours, babies, and success while he's fading into the background." And whether that's true or not, the narrative of Cardi's strength versus Offset's silence has become a trending debate online. But what really stands out is the way Cardi frames her evolution. The once nervous, protective new mom who canceled shows for Kulture has transformed into a woman unafraid of balancing family and career. She's no longer hiding from responsibility. She's owning it, and she's ready to show the world she can do it all. Still, questions remain. Can Cardi truly bounce back in time for her February 2026 tour? Will motherhood slow her down, or will it push her to even greater heights? Fans are already buzzing, and you know this story is just getting started. When Cardi B looks back at her early motherhood years, she doesn't sugarcoat the truth. She admitted that after having Kulture, she felt both joy and fear, an intense mix of emotions that many mothers know too well. She confessed, "I didn't want to leave her side. I was scared to make the wrong decision. Everything felt new, and I wasn't sure if I was doing it right." This vulnerability resonated with women around the world, sparking conversations about postpartum emotions, mental health, and the sacrifices mothers make behind the scenes. But here's the shift. Cardi is no longer standing in that space of fear. She has evolved, and the difference is striking. Now, with her fourth child on the way, she's preparing for life with a level of confidence she once thought was impossible. Fans noticed it immediately. Her tone has changed, her words carry more determination, and her plans are set in motion with precision. She's not just surviving, she's thriving. And a big part of that evolution, she admits, is because of her support system. Cue the entrance of Stefon Diggs. The NFL star, known for his dominance on the field, has quietly become a stabilizing force in Cardi's life. While Offset was once the headline-making partner, marked by drama, rumors, and public breakups, Stefon brings something entirely different. Fans have described him as steady, protective, and even refreshing for Cardi. And Cardi herself hasn't shied away from acknowledging the impact he's had on her journey. In one heartfelt moment, she recalled Stefon telling her, "After this baby, you're still Cardi. You can be a mother and still be the biggest artist in the world. I'll make sure you have the space to shine." That reassurance struck her deeply, reminding her that she didn't have to choose between her family and her career. For Cardi, that message was healing. The contrast between her past relationship with Offset and her present with Stefon is impossible to ignore. With Offset, much of the narrative revolved around betrayal, public apologies, and emotional wounds. But with Stefon, the story feels different. More private, more nurturing, more focused on building something lasting. Fans are even saying this might be the healthiest relationship Cardi has ever been in. Of course, the internet has a way of stirring the pot. Some critics argue that Cardi is moving too fast, that her public declarations about her future with Stefon are risky, especially given how volatile her past relationships have been. One fan commented, "I love Cardi, but I just hope she doesn't set herself up for heartbreak again." But others are clapping back, saying that this is exactly what Cardi deserves: a fresh start, a stable love, and the freedom to move forward without apology. Meanwhile, Cardi isn't letting the noise distract her. She's keeping her eyes firmly set on February 2026, the month she's promised to return to the stage. In her words, "After this baby, I'm hitting the gym, I'm getting my body right, and I'm giving my fans the tour they've been waiting for." That promise has ignited excitement across social media, with hashtags like #Cardi 2026 tour already starting to trend. But here's where the tension builds. Balancing motherhood, fitness, rehearsals, and an entire tour isn't easy. Critics are quick to point out how many artists have failed under the pressure. Yet, Cardi thrives on proving people wrong. Every time she's been doubted in the past, she's come back stronger, louder, and more successful than before. Will this time be any different? And let's not forget, the world of hip-hop isn't waiting for her. Other female rappers are pushing forward, building their legacies and taking their spots on the charts. Cardi knows that when she returns, she has to return with a bang, or risk fading into the background. The stakes couldn't be higher, and the story couldn't be juicier. Because this isn't just about music anymore. It's about redemption, resilience, and rewriting the narrative of Cardi B as not just an artist, not just a mother, but as a woman who refuses to be broken. When Cardi dropped the bombshell about being ready for her February 2026 tour, fans immediately took sides. Some flooded her comment section with encouragement, posting things like, "Yes, Queen, we're ready to see you back on stage." Others were more skeptical, questioning if Cardi could really juggle a newborn, rehearsals, and a global tour. One fan tweeted, "Cardi says she'll be back by February 2026. But let's be real, tours are exhausting. Is this realistic, or just wishful thinking?" This divide in opinion created a storm online. The hashtags #JoshYourTeamCardi and #JoshCardiComeback trended within hours, but so did phrases like #CardiPressure and "Is she ready?" The internet thrives on debate, and Cardi's announcement gave people plenty of fuel. But beyond the chatter, there was a deeper question looming. What role does Offset play in this new chapter? Offset may be Cardi's estranged husband, but he's still the father of 3 of her children. And even though their divorce was finalized in 2024, fans can't help but speculate about what he thinks when he sees Cardi moving forward with Stefon Diggs. Some believe Offset might feel replaced, not just as a partner, but in terms of family identity. Cardi now speaks about her 4th child with my boyfriend Stefon Diggs, a line that shook the internet. That phrasing made it clear. She's rewriting her family structure, and Offset isn't part of it. Yet interestingly, Offset has stayed silent. He hasn't posted subliminal tweets. He hasn't thrown shade in interviews. And for Offset, who is known for his public persona and bold statements, that silence speaks volumes. Some interpret it as maturity. Perhaps he's finally learning to let Cardi go. Others interpret it as quiet resentment, a storm brewing beneath the surface. Meanwhile, Stefon Diggs has been anything but quiet. His support for Cardi has been open, public, and consistent. From Instagram comments to paparazzi moments, Stefon has positioned himself not just as Cardi's boyfriend, but as her partner in every sense. When Cardi speaks about her plans, Stefon echoes them with his own energy. It's almost as if he's saying to the world, "I've got her back. Period." And that level of visible loyalty hasn't gone unnoticed. This is where the drama thickens. Fans are split once again. Some are praising Stefon, calling him the positive influence Cardi always needed. Others are more cautious, pointing out that his name has also been caught up in rumors, lawsuits, and messy accusations in the past. One fan bluntly said, "I like Stefon for Cardi, but let's not act like he's a saint. This could get messy real quick." But here's the twist. Despite the skepticism, Cardi's energy around Stefon seems different. When she talks about him, there's no edge of defensiveness, no hint of doubt. Instead, there's confidence, almost relief, like she's finally found a balance between love and career. That change in tone is what has people buzzing. Could this be the first time Cardi has truly stepped into a relationship that elevates her instead of dragging her down? All of this sets the stage for February 2026. It's not just a tour, it's a statement. Cardi is essentially telling the world, "I'm a mother of 4. I've been through heartbreak, I've been through depression, but I'm back, and I'm stronger than ever." And Stefon, standing beside her, amplifies that message. But what does that mean for Offset? Even though Cardi has moved on, Offset's name is still tied to her story. Every performance, every interview, every headline, there's always a comparison lurking in the shadows. Will Offset fade into the background as Cardi and Stefon rise, or will he eventually step back into the spotlight with a narrative of his own? And then there's the question nobody wants to say out loud. What if things with Stefon don't last? Cardi has placed a lot of emotional weight on this relationship, and the world is watching closely. If it works, it could be the redemption story of the decade. But if it doesn't, the fallout could be explosive. The countdown to February 2026 isn't just about music, it's about love, resilience, rivalry, and reputation. And the next chapter? It's about to get even juicier. Because fans aren't just speculating about Cardi's career, they're speculating about her legacy. Cardi B's announcement about hitting the stage again in February 2026 didn't just electrify her fan base, it sent ripples through the entire music industry. Promoters, rivals, and even longtime collaborators were left scrambling. Why? Because a Cardi B comeback isn't just another tour, it's an event. Every time she takes the stage, it feels like a cultural reset. And this time, with her story of heartbreak, motherhood, and reinvention, the stakes couldn't be higher. The tour, set to be Cardi's first in years, will coincide with her new album, Am I the Drama? Industry insiders say the title itself is a stroke of genius. It acknowledges the chaos, the scandals, the endless headlines, and flips them into power. Cardi isn't running from the drama. She's owning it. She's making it her brand, her statement, her truth. And that, right there, is why her tour is already projected to sell out in record time. But success doesn't come without pressure. Behind the scenes, sources close to Cardi say rehearsals will be brutal. Cardi herself has admitted she's planning to hit the gym hard after giving birth, determined to get her stamina back in time for grueling performances. Think about it. 4 children at home, sleepless nights with a newborn, and on top of that, preparing to headline arenas across the world. It's a level of intensity that would break most artists. But Cardi is betting everything on her ability to rise above it. Meanwhile, the industry is watching closely, especially other female rappers. Names like Megan Thee Stallion, Nicki Minaj, Doja Cat, and Latto are all navigating their own careers, their own releases, their own tours. But Cardi's February 2026 return could shift the balance. Some fans are already speculating that other artists may reschedule or strategically delay projects to avoid clashing with Cardi's momentum. Sound familiar? Yes. Just like Young Thug allegedly pushed back his album release to give Cardi her spotlight. And speaking of Nicki Minaj, the rivalry that never seems to end, fans are already comparing what Cardi's tour numbers might look like against Nicki's most recent performances. It's not just about music anymore. It's about dominance. The media thrives on these comparisons, pitting women against each other, and Cardi knows it. That's why she's working to reframe the narrative. Her focus isn't on being the queen in competition. It's on building her empire, telling her story, and proving her resilience. Stefon Diggs' role in all this cannot be overlooked. As Cardi trains, rehearses, and preps for tour life, Stefon has become a constant source of encouragement. He's been spotted at rehearsal spaces, leaving supportive comments online and making it clear that he sees Cardi's success as their shared victory. One source close to the couple described Stefon as her anchor through the storm. That level of visible support has fans swooning, calling them a power couple in the making. Still, there are whispers. Some industry critics are skeptical. They ask, can Cardi really maintain this momentum? Will motherhood slow her down? Will the industry embrace her comeback? Or will the pressure of constant comparisons drag her down again? These aren't just questions. They're cliffhangers hanging over the entire 2026 tour. But here's the truth Cardi wants everyone to hear. She's not just doing this for the money, or the fame, or the headlines. She's doing it to prove something to herself. After hitting some of the lowest points of her life, after the depression, after the divorce, after the doubt, this comeback is her victory lap, her way of saying, I survived. I'm stronger, and I'm here to remind you who I am. Fans already sense it. On TikTok, edits of Cardi's speeches, past performances, and even her quotes about motherhood are going viral with captions like, she's coming back for the crown, and February 2026 will be her year. The anticipation isn't just about music. It's about witnessing a transformation, live and in real time. And that brings us to the big question. If Cardi delivers, if she truly comes back stronger than ever, what does that mean for the rest of the industry? Will she inspire other artists to push forward? Or will her dominance cast a shadow over those still struggling to find their footing? One thing's for sure. The next chapter of Cardi's journey will not only reshape her career, but could shift the entire landscape of hip-hop. As Cardi B closes this chapter of her life and prepares for what may be her biggest tour yet, the conversation isn't just about music anymore. It's about legacy. Cardi isn't just rapping about money, fame, or drama. She's talking about resilience, motherhood, and a fresh love story that's inspiring millions. Her fourth child with Stefon Diggs isn't just another headline. It's a symbol of survival, rebirth, and second chances. Because when you think about it, Cardi could have given up. The divorce from Offset, finalized in 2024, nearly broke her. By her own admission, she canceled sessions, she stopped writing, she couldn't even look at her children without crying. The darkness of that period could have been the end of her career. But instead of letting it bury her, she used it as fuel. And now, her music, her family, her tour, they're all stitched together as proof that even when life drags you down, you can climb back up. Enter Stefon Diggs, the man who changed everything. His simple words, "Let me heal you," became a turning point. For Cardi, it wasn't about another flashy romance or a headline-grabbing fling. It was about trust. It was about finally feeling safe to love again. Fans watched in real time as her energy shifted. Her smiles grew bigger, her captions more heartfelt, her interviews filled with warmth rather than defensiveness. That transformation is Stefon's impact, and his presence in her life has become part of her story as much as the music. But let's be clear, Cardi isn't depending on Stefon to save her. No, what makes this story powerful is that Cardi saved herself. Stefon may have offered support, but Cardi did the work. She picked herself up, she pushed through depression, and she made the decision to rise again. That's why fans are calling her comeback legendary before it even begins. Because it's not just about watching a celebrity on stage, it's about witnessing a woman reclaim her power. Now, all eyes are on February 2026. The stage lights, the costumes, the choreography, all of it will be under a microscope. And the question isn't whether Cardi can perform. The real question is, how will she channel her story into a show that people will remember for decades? Will it be raw? Emotional? Will she cry on stage? Will she dedicate moments to her kids? To Stefon? To the fans who never left her side? These are the moments the world is waiting for. And make no mistake, Cardi knows how to deliver. Every time she's underestimated, she's found a way to flip the narrative. From stripping clubs to the Grammys, from internet hate to stadium tours, she's always been the underdog who rises. And that's why her February 2026 tour isn't just a concert, it's the event of the decade. Her fans, known for their loyalty and their fire, are already preparing. Hashtags like Chi Cardi Comeback, Giammi the Drama and Dog Team Boy are circulating, with speculation about the baby's name, the set list, and even surprise collaborations. And the chatter isn't just among fans. Industry insiders are whispering about potential guest appearances, secret features, and groundbreaking visuals that could redefine live hip-hop performances. At the heart of it all, though, is the simple truth. Cardi B has nothing left to prove. She's already made history. She's already changed the game. What comes next isn't about proving herself. It's about celebrating herself. It's about standing on stage with her scars, her triumphs, and her fourth child on the way, and saying to the world, "I'm still here, I made it, and I'm only getting started." So when February 2026 arrives, remember this moment. Remember the pain, the doubt, the headlines. Remember the whispers that said she couldn't do it. Because when Cardi B steps onto that stage, surrounded by fans screaming her name, supported by Stefon Diggs and fueled by the love of her children, she won't just be performing. She'll be rewriting history. And maybe, just maybe, years from now, when people talk about comebacks, resilience, and the power of music, they'll point to this era of Cardi B as the moment when everything changed. A mother, a survivor, a superstar, a woman who turned pain into power and never looked back.